Diddy just realized that it's over, man. He realized he may never be coming home. He's stressed out. Some reports have come out, and I'm going to show you guys these reports and give you guys the update on what's going on. But Diddy is in a world of trouble, and I don't think that he could beat this case. I think that he realizes he can't beat this case. He's panicking right now, and he's making some moves. He's been making some moves while he's locked up to kind of indicate that he's worried about his future. So there's a very important lesson, especially for my entrepreneurs that's listening, everybody that follow the content. If you watch, for the entrepreneur advice and for the business side of every part of this that we give, then you need to pay attention to the end of this, especially if you want to be a millionaire, especially if you plan on having an immense amount of success. Then you need to pay attention to this live stream to the end, because we're going to have some real talk in entrepreneur hour and community hour. And we're going to talk about this from a different perspective, from that perspective. So I want to show you guys all the different things that's going on with Diddy. The first thing, you guys know, when we just get started with the live stream, we let everybody come in, but make sure you guys respect the room, respect the rules of the room. Make sure you guys, in the chat, keep it respectful with each other. It's subscriber only chat. So if you're not a subscriber, you're not going to be able to really comment. I want to make sure that you guys can hear me clearly before we start presenting all the information or get too deep into the live stream. So just drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly, please, if you're watching. Hit that like button if you're just coming in. And let's try to keep the likes up to 50% of the people in the room. If we get 100 people in here, 50 people, hit that like button for me, please. All right, man. Before we start any live stream, we always start the same way. I always start the same way. You guys know, if you watch, I always start with a prayer, man. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you humbly, God, asking that you let us be good stewards of our blessings, good stewards of our time, good stewards of the things that you've given us, the gifts that you've given us, all the gifts that we're not aware of or the ones that we don't even pay attention to every single day. God, we ask that you open our minds and open our eyes that we could see them and start being a little bit more grateful for them. God, I ask that you bless everybody under the sound of my voice. And as they're going to and from where they're going to and from today, God, I ask that you give them traveling mercy. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's get into this details, man. So Diddy is reportedly super stressed out while he's in jail right now. He knows his trial is coming up next week. It says Diddy's hair is turning dramatically gray as his trafficking trial nears. And it's being reported that he's scrambling behind the scenes trying to find the perfect everything. And, there's a lesson in this that I'm going to get to, but it just shows that he still thinks that there's something that he can control. Like, he's still looking for a way to control the situation. And man, this is completely out of his control, and it's not looking good. So we got a lot of stuff to get to. So let's start moving through it, man. It says Diddy will still be going to trial in May after his legal team's request for delay, which I'm going to show you guys in a second. It says Diddy's hair has reportedly turned gray completely. One, he ain't got that. You ain't got no hair dye in jail like that. So that's, his hair was already gray. It ain't turned gray, but his hair was gray. It just, you can see it now. But he is stressed out, I'm sure. It says, while there was no cameras present, the courtroom sketch artist Jane Rosenberg captured Diddy's new look, and he still sports short hair, but it appears to be fully gray now. He's also got a gray beard as well. If you guys look at the thumbnail, you kind of get a depiction of what he looked like. Fans have had plenty to say about the sketch that circulated on social media. No beard dye behind bars, champ. Somebody said that's true. Said he lost so much weight. You're gonna lose weight when you go to jail, especially in his situation. One of the biggest things that I took away initially when all this started getting reported was, man, he going to trial in May. Normally for serious cases like this, they stretch the trial out a year, 2 years, 3 years. He went to trial within 6 months. That's not a good sign. It's like, that means the feds, they feel like they got such a strong case, they don't have to delay it, or nothing else needs to be. They got everything they need. I remember a report that one of the prosecuting attorneys said, we're ready to go to a trial tomorrow. We don't care. It don't have to be in May. We can go to trial tomorrow. And I was like, oh, that's not good. So it says Diddy's team argued that they cannot in good conscience go to trial in May, as there have been several major changes to the case in recent weeks. So now Diddy is scrambling because he feels like his lawyers aren't ready for trial. And dude, we a week, 2 weeks, what are it? Diddy's 2 weeks away from trial, a little less, I think. A little less than 2 weeks away from trial. and your lawyers are still panicking, your lawyers are not ready, and you got to go for you fighting for your life now. Don't forget, this is a life sentence that you're fighting. And your lawyers putting out, not just putting out statements, but your lawyers letting the judge know, hey, we're not ready. Oof. Scary, man. That's scary. So I got a poll in the chat. I want you guys to vote in the chat. Let me know what you think the verdict of this is going to be as we go through this information. I'll show you guys the articles and all the lawyers breaking it down. Do you think Diddy is going to be guilty or not guilty? Vote in the poll in the chat right now. So that's what that article says. Now let's break down why Diddy wanted to have the trial delayed and everything that happened with that. It says Diddy's judge rules on motion to delay Mogul's trial by 2 months. So Diddy wanted the trial delayed by 2 months. And he tried to get a continuance and the judge made a ruling on it. It says it goes without saying that Diddy has a lot on his plate at the moment. Obviously, him being in the MDC, that's a scary place for him to be. And he had other things to worry about. Like, it's not like he just in jail. Like, bro, I'm sure there's some Illuminati executives that are worried that Diddy is going to say something about them. Maybe he saw something he wasn't supposed to see over his last 30 years of being in the industry. But you know what? Before I even continue with this, there's a scripture that just came to my mind, man. This is what happens when in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verses 18, but the whole chapter, it talks about what God will bless you with, all the financial abundance God will bless you with, Deuteronomy chapter 8. But then it talks about what's going to happen if you don't remember that God is the one that blessed you with it. And when I look at Diddy, I'll get into that later, but when I look at Diddy in his situation, that's a lot of what I see. It's a lot of what I see, man. He's like King Nebuchadnezzar. So it says, in March, it was revealed that his trial had been scheduled to begin in May. So we learned that Diddy was going to be going to trial in May. And earlier this week, however, Diddy's legal team requested more time. In a motion, they asked that the trial be pushed back by 2 months. If you get to the week of trial and you start asking for the trial to be pushed back, you're scared. You're scared. And it's not just Diddy. I'm going to show you guys some of the panicking that Diddy is doing. But it's not just him that's scared. His lawyers are scared. And at this point, they just cash grabbing him, I think. I think they really I think his lawyers know that they can't beat this case. And it's just like, they just trying to get what they can out of it. It says now, according to TMZ, the U.S. district judge has made a decision. Unfortunately for Diddy, it did not work out in his favor. The outlet reported Diddy's team was told they should be ready to go by May 5th. That's a week or two away. It says, and be ready to go by May 5th, and that this shouldn't be a problem because he has 4 law firms representing him. The judge said it's unclear why there isn't sufficient time to prepare. I've been locked up in a past life. By the grace of God, I don't live like that no more. I was robbing people when I was younger. Nothing like this. But I can't even imagine having 4 law firms represent me. Like, when you got 4 different, not 4 lawyers, 4 law firms, that means 4 whole offices are representing Diddy. That's crazy. And he still feel like he's not ready. What does that say? So it says news of Diddy's latest legal loss comes shortly after it was reported that he has been trying to get his hands on a draft of one of his alleged victims' unpublished memoirs. The alleged victim in question is speculated to be Cassie, though at the time of writing this, it's unconfirmed. Now, I'm going to show you guys. I got information about that. I got more information about that. I'm going to show you guys in a second. So Diddy, he worried. He went and hired 4 law firms. They say his hair turning gray and everything is not looking good so far. Now, for whatever reason, he's still trying to play the black card. And there were some reports that came out that, he felt like this is some racism or something like that. And I'm like, dog, they ain't, I don't know. I just don't like that. Stop that. We got to stop that. Diddy makes a last minute push to hire a black female attorney. So he don't feel like he could trust his attorney. He got to hire somebody black on staff. I don't know, man. Or maybe that's a move. That might be a move, because if you try to play the black card at trial, then you got a black attorney. If you don't have a black attorney, they're going to be like, you didn't even hire a black lawyer, and you talking about racism? Maybe that's a public. It's like he's still trying to play the public music industry type of game while behind bars. Bro, you can't do that. You on the phone. I'm not on the phone. Look, Diddy has got caught doing a lot of stupid stuff while he's been in jail. Using other people's PIN codes. If you've been in jail, you know you get a PIN code when you get in to use the phone. He using other people's PIN codes, it was reported, to call victims and tell victims, like warn victims to not testify. Like they caught him for that, which is why he got his bail denied, even though he presented $50 million as a bail package and said he would submit to house arrest with no visitors. He just want to be in his home, basically jail and home. Like the judge denied all that because he's been doing so much dumb stuff. And then the judge was also upset and denied his bail the third time because his sons kept posting on his Instagram account. And the judge was like, you trying to use your sons to use your Instagram account to sway the jury pool. And you're also trying to intimidate witnesses. No bail. So like little stuff that he's been doing has been making it harder for him. And it's like, now you got this trial coming up and the judge ain't got no sympathy. It seemed like the judge, their job is to put people in jail. That's the job. So you gotta, it's crazy, man. It says Diddy is reportedly looking for a black female attorney to join his legal team. Says TMZ reports that the bad boy mogul could be interested in diversifying his panel of counselors. And it says, considering that his lawyers currently are all white men. Said he's already attempted to use race as a key part of his defense strategy. Says in February, Diddy's legal team suggested that race was a contributing factor in the prosecution's allegation that he violated the Mann Act. They noted that it was originally named the White Slave Traffic Act, saying that it has a long and troubling history as a statute with racist origins used to target black men and supposedly protect white women from them. The prosecution, I hate saying this word. I always try to say this word right, but I'm not good at saying this word. Vehemently denied the idea at the time. And don't none of y'all laugh at me. Some of y'all can't say automatopoeia or other word. Anemone. Sorry. It says the prosecution denied the idea at the time. And they said that, you know, obviously they're going to say race plays no role whatsoever. So you panicking when you like, yo, can we play the black card on this one? Is it possible? Will they go for it? You panicking. So that was one part of it. And then here was another like really abrupt move that Diddy made recently that I was like, what's going on? Says Diddy went and hired Young Thug's lawyer. So Young Thug, we saw he beat his RICO case. Diddy went last minute about a day or two ago and he hired Brian Steele to be a part of his trial, be on the legal team. Hiring a lawyer 2 weeks before, I don't know. I've hired lawyers before. Like hiring a lawyer 2 weeks before the trial, a trial. We're not talking about nothing else. We're talking about a federal criminal trial. And you hiring lawyers 2 weeks before the trial goes, man. So he hired Young Thug's lawyer, said the federal criminal trial of Diddy just got some very important rulings from the judge. To navigate all the new elements of the decision, the bad boy mogul has a new legal ally, Brian Steele. In a clip posted, Brian Steele was at the court hearing in the New York federal court. For those unaware, Brian Steele is Young Thug's defense lawyer in the RICO case, which we all saw. And Brian Steele did a good job in that case. He did an excellent job, actually. Not only that, but the lawyer reportedly arrived at Sean Combs' hearing alongside another familiar face from the YSL RICO trial. The woman next to him in the clip is Nicole Westmoreland, who represented Quamarvius Nichols. I don't know who that is. So Diddy got some new lawyers. Says, however, Puff's legal team did secure a win after a judge reportedly approved their request to see all Cassie's memoir drafts. So I'm going to show you guys that report in a second. As we tie this off, and you know what? Let me finish this because this information is important. It says this is because they allege her writings contradict her expected testimony as an alleged victim, of which there are reportedly 3 others in this trial at the press time. So the important part of that to me, when I hear it, if I'm putting myself in the mind of if I'm sitting in jail, I'm about to go to trial. Forget the memoir part. There's 3 victims that's about to testify, or 4 victims, Cassie and 3 other people that are about to testify against Diddy that are victims. I'm going to get to that in a second. Speaking of which, the judge reportedly allowed these 3 alleged victims to testify against Diddy anonymously under pseudonyms, something the defense strongly opposed for 2 of them. So the victims don't even have to show their face. Diddy is painted. The judge already feels like Diddy is guilty because he's allowing victims to not even let their names be. They don't even have to come to court. They're going to do this from a video chat anonymously with their face blurred. You don't think Diddy is worried? Would you be worried? If you were sitting in jail right now, would you be worried if this was the case? Man, there's so much that he got to fight up. It's an uphill battle, man. They're not giving him no plea deal. They already said that. No plea deal. They want the max. So let me show you guys. Let's listen to this lawyer. He's been breaking down this situation. I like hearing him talk about it because I think he's entertaining. So let's hear him talk about it and see what he feels. You guys been watching, you know.
Interesting court rulings coming out on Diddy's case. First and most importantly, Diddy's team asked for a continuance. They said that they don't have enough time to get ready. I knew they were, or I anticipated they'd ask for a continuance. Kind of shocked that the judge just said, no, I don't want your number. No, I don't want to give you mine. But the judge's logic was solid. 2 things. 1, you can't ask for a speedy trial and then tell the court you're not ready. And number 2, don't y'all got a shit ton of lawyers sitting over there at that table? And then 3, they said, it's way too close. We're sending out information. We're getting everything ready. It's way too close to trial for you to be asking for a continuance. A couple of other things that I think more importantly came out in the court's order. The court specifically had a ruling when it talked about the 404B and the 413 evidence. If you remember, 404B evidence is prior bad act evidence, along with 413B evidence, which is evidence of prior sexual assaults, accusations against Diddy. The court said, no, government, you're not even going to be allowed to get into all this stuff. Why is that important? This is a common play of the federal government. What they love to do is give you a death of 1,000 cuts. They like to bring in a bunch of superfluous information on against you to see how it goes. I remember once we had a federal drug dealing trial in South Carolina, and when I tell you the amount of individuals who had nothing to do with the case who were testifying that, yeah, you know, I dealt drugs with him back in like,
that's so true, man.
And he sold me kilos. And then another, yeah, I know he did this, and they kept bringing it and kept bringing it and kept bringing it. We used to refer to it as the door of shame that people would come out of. And I remember specifically talking to the client, and the client asking, because we did a closing argument, we sat down, I got sweat coming down my face, and the client looks at me, and I'll never forget the quote. He said, how do you think it's going? Because I remember telling him. I said, good news, bad news. He said, what's the good news? This jury loves me. He said, what's the bad?
Hey, this remind me of the Drewski skit. Hey, I got good news and I got bad news. The dude said, this jury loves me. Bro, that's the good news. What's the bad news? Remember Drewski had that skit where he say, hey, when he was playing the lawyer, he was like, I got good news and I got bad news, buddy. Say, okay, the good news, I got your payment, pal. Said, okay, what's the bad news? Said, the bad news is they gave you life. That's what this remind me of.
Bad news. They hate your drug dealing ass. I told you should have taken the deal. And that's what ends up happening usually with the federal government. They can bring so much information against you that The underlying crime, you might have a defense to, but the jury hates you so much because of the other stuff, they're just going to convict.
Yep.
So it is a very big deal that the federal government is not going to be allowed to get into the prior bad acts generically, as well as the prior sexual assaults. Now, they are going to be getting into some stuff about victim number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, the court said,
hit the like button.
Yeah, that information about victim number 5 is going to be interesting. So the case is going. It's starting May 5th. Continuances aren't going to be granted. They're not going to be able to get into the 404B, prior bad acts. They won't be able to get into sexual assaults against Diddy, giving him even more of a fighting chance. It's going to be interesting, but choo-choo, the freight train's running.
It's over with. Hit that like button if you guys just coming in, or if you haven't hit the like button yet. If you are, I know a lot of you guys watch on TV. That's why we keep it at 50% of the people in the room. If you know, we got over 500 people in, we should be at over 250 likes. So hit that like button if you haven't, please. A lot of information that we go through. It's a lot of work to put this channel together. So that's all I ask you guys here. Also, you know, we're going to get into this Cassie part of it. And for Entrepreneur Hour, when we start breaking this down from a different perspective, I'm going to go into the foyer of the mansion, and we're going to do it there. And I already got the camera set up. It's set up a little bit better today, so you guys can, you know, it won't be like yesterday when that was our first time doing that. So today, I'm going to make sure that when we go in there, you know, we're going to sit right here, and we're going to talk about our entrepreneur advice and all that stuff. So here's the other part of this, man. Here's the other part of this. Diddy's lawyers reportedly motioned to exclude Cassie footage from federal trial. The video where Diddy is kicking Cassie and dragging her through the hallway in the hotel and all that stuff, they want that excluded because she's testifying. And without even reading this article, just common sense, you know, testifying against you know, you testifying against them. You don't want I'm sure Diddy's lawyers don't want the jury to look at her as a victim. They want her to be seen as an ex-girlfriend that's disgruntled. And that video makes her look like a victim, which then everything out of her mouth after that video is played in court is going to be crazy. Somebody said, we only got 150 likes, 530 people in here. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, you guys. Or we're going to have to take a little bathroom break. Anyways, ever since the video footage of Diddy's physically assaulting Cassie was released online, there have been many questions, conflicts, speculative theories about its application in his trial. According to the reports, his lawyer took this doubt one step further. They filed a motion to exclude the hotel security clip from possible use as evidence. Alternatively, if this fails, the defense asks that the court permit Sean Diddy Combs to present evidence at a pretrial hearing regarding the unreliability of the existing and available video evidence. Now, you know what's weird to me about this whole, bro, there's like 5 people testifying against you. Why every report we just see him focusing on Cassie? That's just something to just think about that, you guys. I'm not saying Cassie is 100% innocent. I think that she was with some of this stuff until it got to a certain point, personally. But my personal opinion don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But pay attention to the mentality of Diddy. 5 people testifying against you. You just keep going at Cassie. You know, which I get it. She's the one that her name is out there and she don't have to, you know, I get it on some level, but it is kind of, it don't make you look better. It make you look like you still that controlling, abusive dude. You know, like I want the book. I want everything she doing. I want it. She writing the book. I want it. Give it to me. Put a motion in to like, bro. Says per the motion, the court should exclude the Cassie video because the state did not sufficiently prove the footage's veracity and because of its dramatic impact on potential jurors. Let me Diddy's lawyers. I don't know if y'all aware, but everybody's already seen the video. It being played in court ain't gonna take it out of people's minds. It don't matter who's a juror. They've seen the video. Diddy is not a small celebrity. He was a billionaire. In addition, Diddy's legal team accused the government of not working hard enough to find the original clip, which should lead to all other versions, exclusions from the trial under the principle of best evidence. That's a fair point. Diddy's apology is brought into question. It says the video in question appeared online last year in May. Thus, they believe it has no place in this criminal trial. Afterwards, the news outlet denied any and all of these accusations, CNN they talking about, of manipulating or destroying the footage. So basically, they want the original copy. Diddy's like, no, that ain't the original copy. They clipped it up for the news. Well, yeah, bro, they're not going to show everything on the news. And they're not going to just play 15 minutes of footage on the news. Yeah, they took 30 seconds out of it. Anyways, Diddy put that apology video up, said, I was effed up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in the video. It's disgusting. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought professional help. This sounds like my grandma died, man. I just been going through things speech. I've been going to therapy, going to rehab, Diddy said. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to being a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry. All that's fine, bro. But man, consequences. God forgives, but that don't negate consequence. You know, God will forgive you, but it don't negate consequence, bro. You still got to deal with what you did. So Diddy's judge, and speaking of that, don't you guys remember when, like, once he apologized, it's he shouldn't have said nothing, to be real. I get you have to apologize, and he wasn't in jail at that moment, and apologizing is the right thing, but there was so much legal action around him. It's like when Tory Lanez was on the phone right before he went to trial. Remember when Tory Lanez was in the Megan Thee Stallion thing, and Tory Lanez was on the phone apologizing? Same type of thing. Says Diddy judge orders Cassie to hand over the memoir drafts and allows anonymous testimony. This is where he's going. This is why he's worried. This is why it's over with. Like the lawyer that I just played the video said, you got a bunch of people that are going to show up out of the woodwork in federal court and say, yeah, no, I saw him do this 5 years ago. Yeah, 30 years ago, he did do that. Just to paint, and they're going to say that it establishes character in court. We're just trying to establish character to say that, hey, he did this 30 years ago and he was doing it 5 years ago still. So he's been doing this for, we could say, 25 years minimum, right? So says despite Diddy's legal team, Diddy and his legal team's attempts, the judge won't delay his trial. We already went over that. However, other rulings might bode better news for both sides. So it says, according to reports, the federal judge ordered that Cassie Ventura hand in all her memoir drafts for Sean Combs' team to review. This is because the defense's legal team, the defense's alleged her testimony will contradict what she wrote in these drafts. So what she's going to say on the stand is not what she wrote in her book, is what they're going to say. Also, the judge called the defense's attempts to seek Ventura's 2023 bank statements as a fishing expedition and denied the request. So Diddy didn't just request that Cassie turn over the book that she's writing or whatever it was. He wanted to see her bank statements for whatever reason. I don't know what his lawyers is doing. Speaking of the testimony, the judge also reportedly ruled in favor of 3 new victims that can be anonymous. Says the victims are referred to as victim 2, 3, and 4. Cassie, while not anonymous, appears as victim 1. So there's 4 victims total that are going to be testifying. 3 of them are going to be anonymous. Cassie is going to be victim number 1. It's over with, man. Let me tell you guys. Let me finish this, and I'm going to tell you guys. The Bad Boy Moguls legal team, now joined by Brian Steele, we already went over that, strongly opposed anonymous testimony for the alleged victims. On the other hand, the defense attorneys reportedly did not object to victims' 2 anonymous testimony, stating that the alleged victim only spent 3 years around Diddy. They alleged that the other 2 victims are former longtime employees. His employees is snitching on him. Didn't I tell you guys this? If you've been watching the channel when this first broke, I told you his employees is going to come out. And I showed you guys back then when it was a rumor. Now they're confirming that Diddy's employees, longtime employees, not they said one of them only worked with Diddy for 3 years, but the other two victims that are longtime employees, and they get to remain anonymous. You know why they get to remain anonymous? Because they're gonna keep working in the industry for the feds. We'll let you remain anonymous, but we're trying to get more people. We're trying to get some more people locked up. Who else is doing this? Do you know of anybody else doing? You've been around Diddy for 20 years. You know anybody else? I'm sure you saw a lot. That's how the feds do. Now we're gonna make sure that you stay anonymous, but we're gonna send you back in, and you're gonna work for us now in order to stay anonymous. And if you don't testify, hey, you know who's in there? Y'all want to know who I believe is one of the victims that's gonna be anonymous? Christina Karam, who's been alleged to be Diddy's Ghislaine Maxwell, which we haven't heard anything from her. Right? Y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember the reports? Let me pull them up. Where they was like, yeah, this is Diddy's right-hand woman. And she was doing everything with Diddy. She was the one running around for him. Y'all remember that? And she's been working in the industry for a long time and all this different stuff. Let me pull the article up on her if I can find it. Because I believe she's going to be one of the people that testifies that's going to be working in the industry right after. Even though she did everything with Diddy, and now they like, man, look, you go to jail with him, or here it is, Christina Karam. You go to jail with him, and she spoke out about a month ago, where she was silent for the first part of this. This is her. Christina Karam, former chief of staff to Sean Combs, denies horrific accusations against her. Why would you speak out a month ago? And it's been going on. People have been talking about this for a long time. It says, as Sean Diddy Combs battles criminal charges, dozens of civil suits, his life, blah, blah, blah. His former chief of staff, Christina Karam, speaking out. She's speaking out after she got that deal. After they said, oh, yeah, you got that deal? Okay, now I can say something. She said, for months, horrific accusations have been made about me in various lawsuits regarding my former boss. These false allegations of my involvement are causing irreparable harm and incalculable damage to my reputation and the emotional well-being of myself and my family. Bro, they said they reported that you was walking around giving pink cocaine out to people at all white parties. Oh, you talking about your family and your reputation. She said, I have never condoned or aided and abetted in the sexual assault of anyone, nor have I ever drugged anyone. You just said, hey, you take this. I'm not saying, I'm just allegedly. Hey, you take this, or Diddy gonna kill you. Allegedly. I'm joking. She said, the idea that I could be accused of playing a role in, listen, she was quiet for like 5 months, and now it's a month before trial and you speaking out. Man, knock it off. They said this 5 months ago about you. Where you been? She said the idea that I could be accused of playing a role in or even being a bystander to the rape of anyone is beyond upsetting, disturbing, and unthinkable. That is not who I am, and my heart goes out to all victims of sexual assault. I am confident that the allegations against me will be proven untrue. Knock it off. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are confident in it a month before trial. Said Karam has been named as defendant in 3 civil complaints against Diddy, and she has not been charged with any crimes. I'm sure she hasn't. Combs faces life in prison if convicted for his indictment. And we all know that, Diddy is still fighting this. So back to all the victims that are there. All the victims that are there. You got four victims that are testifying. One of them is Cassie. Three of them are staying anonymous. Two of them have worked for Diddy for a long time. And they said one of the victims only worked for Diddy for 3 years. So that kind of gives us a gauge of how much time a long time is to the judge and to the prosecution. You know, more than 3 years at least, right? Hit that like button if you in here. Hit that like button if you in here. So here's the problem. Here's the problem that Diddy's facing. Here's the problem Diddy's facing. When victims, I don't care what crime it is, when the victims are on the stand and they say, he did it, when the victims are up there and they point at you and say, yes, he's the guy that did that. Because the prosecution is going to ask, do you see the man that did it in the room? Him. How are you going to beat that? There's four people saying you. Not one. Not a he said, she said. He did it to me. It's a victim. It's not somebody that was a bystander or somebody that was on the street watching or somebody that went to the party and saw it and left. No, it's somebody that's saying he did it to me. It's a victim. It's going to be hard to beat the case, man. That's why he's panicking. That's why he hired 4 law firms. It says Diddy prosecutor seeks to use an alleged victim's 911 call against him in court. So they're trying to get a 911 call brought to court. I guess there's somebody that called the police on him or something like that about this type of situation. Let's see. It says because this call, and this was the government claimed that this alleged victim made a 911 call in December of 2011. So they got calls from all the way in 2011 after Sean Combs Diddy allegedly broke into their LA house, their residency. So they got calls from 2011. You don't think the prosecution prepared? You crazy. Said because this call was made shortly after discovering the break-in, victim two's statement are nevertheless admissible because they were made in close time to when he observed the break-in at his home. So dang. So one of the victims, they just told us one of the victims is a man. That's crazy. It said the break-in at his home. Oops. That's the prosecution did. Oops. So they got a dude whoever it says is victim 2. So victim 2 was the guy that worked for 3 years for Diddy. Somebody that worked for Diddy for 3 years, a man, is victim 2. It says in addition, prosecutors allege that this 911 call shows the alleged victim's mental anguish caused by the bad boy mogul's alleged criminal enterprise, for which they believe is a supporting piece of evidence. Amid their larger approach to the Diddy trial, they also plan to introduce testimony and communicative exchanges from Puff's former employees, bodyguards, personal assistants, and more. So they're bringing 4 people to testify in court, but then they're going to bring a bunch of everybody that ever worked for Diddy. They text messages have been confiscated, recordings, and different things like that, they say. Man, I don't see it. I don't see it. Let me see what you guys saying in the poll. 89% of people saying that Diddy is going to be found guilty. I think so too. I don't see it. I don't know how he's going to beat it. You don't go to trial this quick and win. They said they got a forensic psychologist set to testify in Diddy's trial. Look at this woman's face, and y'all tell me if y'all think she want Diddy in or out of jail. Do y'all think this woman wants Diddy to go to jail or come home? Y'all tell me. Just look at her. Judge, but God looks at the outward, or God looks at the heart, but man looks at the outward appearance. Y'all look at the outward appearance. Tell me what y'all think. Oh man, he fighting an uphill battle, man. He fighting an uphill battle. So this is the same woman that I guess was working on the Harvey Weinstein case and got him locked up allegedly. So he fighting uphill battle, man. Now, as you guys kind of got most of the information about this. Now let's have a real conversation as a community, right? We about to start community hour. I think I'm gonna take you guys. We're gonna go to the foyer of the mansion in a second and just have some conversation about this in a second. But this story, Diddy's story, reminds me of the story of King Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible. Now, if you don't know the story of King Nebuchadnezzar, he was a king. He had like all the dominion, like one of the most powerful kings in the world at the time, ruler of Babylon, richest and strongest empire. And he had this crazy dream, and Daniel went to interpret it for him. And when Daniel went to interpret the dream for him, he told him, he said, this dream means that God is going to strip you of your kingdom, strip you all your blessings because you became arrogant and you started believing that your pride has made you believe that you're the reason that you're successful and not God. And so for it was 7 periods of time. God was going to strip him and make him live like an animal. And it says like the beasts of the fields, you know? So if you've been in jail, you know, like that's like living like a caged animal. If you've been, you know, I've been, I know. It's like living like a caged animal. You wait till somebody come and they throw you the food. You go to sleep when they tell you to turn the lights off on you when they want to. Like you living like you caged up. And only in repentance would God show Nebuchadnezzar mercy. And it reminds me of that same story. Like Diddy got stripped of his blessings, stripped of his kingdom. You about to go in here and live like an animal for a long period of time, bro. Same type of thing, man. What's the lesson that you need to learn? All my entrepreneurs that's listening. This is what you have to understand. We're about to get into some super gems. Speaking of which, make sure that you guys go to ulegend.com. It's pinned in the chat. It's also scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We got our From Stuck to 7 Figures private live stream. We're doing a private live stream. It's no cost. It's a live event. You guys are going to spend some time with me. And I'm going to teach you 4 steps to turn your purpose into profit. First, how to find the perfect business idea for you. That's the number one thing. To get to the mentality of how you can become successful and then use that to turn it into a successful business and start making money. Everybody watching me, you should not be using the internet for free, by the way. And some of y'all watch me, y'all know y'all should be successful. And some of y'all know y'all should be doing way more. You know, you got more potential than you've been able to, you know, manifest. So go make sure you sign up. We do it every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Every Wednesday is the private live stream. You have to go to the website, ulegend.com, to get access to it. So go over there, hit the unlock access button and sign up, man. But the big lesson that we're going to learn from Diddy, the big lesson I'm going to teach you guys today, entrepreneur-wise, money-wise, to make some money, to change your life, right, is understanding the value of time, how rich people look at time, and freedom, which we all think we understand it, but we really don't. So let's move into, I'm going to move into a more comfortable seat. We're going to move to the foyer of my mansion, and we're going to have this conversation, man. Take a quick bathroom break. We're gonna be there in 30 seconds. Can y'all hear me clearly? I left my phone. Let me grab my other phone. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me clearly. I want to make sure that we got good audio before I start giving you guys these gems. All right. Let's talk about it, man. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Where's my water bottle? All right, let's see what y'all saying in the chat. Make sure you drop your entrepreneur questions. If you got entrepreneur questions, this is the time where I answer those. Look, man, the value of time. When we're not successful, before we have success, you don't really understand the value of time. Diddy is learning right now, like, bro, time is so important. And a lot of us, we trade our time for money. Like, when you become successful, you start understanding, okay, the cost is, the cost of my time is worth more than $25 an hour. The cost of my freedom is worth more than $25 an hour. And a lot of times, the shift that you have to make in your mind from where you are to where you want to be is really just that, you know, just valuing your time more. How do I use my time in a way where I'm getting the maximum amount of value versus, you know, just trading my time for, you know, whatever somebody's willing to pay. And entrepreneurs are interesting because we do this. And I'm looking at the chat, you guys. I got you guys right here. I'm looking at the chat. Entrepreneurs are interesting because we make the decision that we would rather work 24 hours in a day for ourselves than work 8 hours a day for somebody else, even if it's for the same amount of money. And in the beginning, you might work a lot, but at some point you get to a place where you generate enough momentum that the momentum is creating your success and you don't have to work as much. So for me personally, right? For an example, for me, I don't have to work 24 hours a day anymore. Like, I'll take a nap. I'm gonna get off this live stream and go eat, take a nap, chill for the rest of the day. The business is on autopilot, and I teach you guys how to do that. I teach my clients how to do that. And that's why I like to invite you guys to the private live stream so you get to learn some gems and also my inner circle. But the private live stream, make sure you hit the website because it's really just a mentality thing. Like, it's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little bit of money on a long period of time. So it's easier for me to make $20,000 in a week than it is for me to make $20,000 in a year, hard work wise. And I keep teaching people this, that, you know, hard work is not necessarily the formula for creating money. And I hate the term hard work because, you know, a lot of us think that if it's not hard, then it's not work. And it almost creates this mentality that if it's not something that's hard to do, then it's not going to work for me. So that's a whole nother thing. But understanding time and the value of time and what you're supposed to do to save time. So when you become successful, when you start thinking successfully, right? Everything that saves you time, you should invest in it. I'm going to pay somebody to clean my house. I'm going to pay somebody to do this. Now, getting the money, we got to talk about that too. But a lot of times when I was poor, when I was coming up, growing up, a lot of you guys probably still think this way, and I want to break you free from that mentality so you can be successful. You look at rich people, you look at the people that are successful, and you go, they got a butler, they bougie. Oh, they riding they pay for this, they bougie. They flying private. Oh man, that's a waste of money. No, they understand it's not a waste of money. They understand that I can make more time. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. I can give you, let me use an example. If I decided that, or if you decided that you could switch lives with Warren Buffett right now. Warren Buffett is 95 years old, billionaire, one of the richest people in the world. He's 95 years old though. I don't know what age you are, but whatever age you are, if you could switch lives with Warren Buffett right now, what you do it? You get all his money, but you have to turn 95 today. Most people is going to say no. Why? Because they understand the length of their life, no matter how many billions, whatever length of time they have left on this earth is worth more than the money. So understanding that the cost of your time, you have to start valuing it more mentally. So you start trading it for more physically. Time is a spiritual resource. Time is something that we can't get back. We can't make more of it. Nobody can give to you. So understanding that, use your money to buy more time. The Bible says to redeem the time because the days are evil. If you look at the original meaning of the Hebrew word evil, it means hard, long, difficult. So it says buy back the time because the days are hard. Work life is hard, so you need to get as much time back as you can, right? Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Hold on. Let me close the poll up. Garden Lady 2018 said, hello, Will. Thank you for your content. Thank you for being here. Always being here. One of the members of the channel, and I love to see you here. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for being here. Said he always thought he was bigger than God. Diddy is worse than an abomination. Look, the Bible says that rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Like God looks at being disobedient as the same thing as witchcraft, right? Even to the Diddy situation, understanding that even when you get blessed, like if you're not giving it back to God, it don't matter. The scripture says, Psalm chapter 127 says, if you build the house and you do it without God, you labor in vain. If you stay awake watching over a city and you stay awake without God, you stay awake in vain. In vain you rise early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for God grants rest to those that he loves. So what does that mean? That means that no matter what I do, no matter what kind of success I have, if I'm doing it without God, it's not success. See, people think that success is making money or success is getting rich, right? And I know we was going to talk about time and freedom, but I just want to say this, man. People think that making money is success and getting rich is success. If I turn the foyer of this mansion, if I turn this right here into a football field, it's still an expensive football field, but it's a waste of a beautiful home, right? Most people would say, you wasted that beautiful home. If I put a football field, dirt, grass, and me and my son, we just play football in here all day. Y'all gonna say, why would you ruin that beautiful house? Most people would say that. That tells you that success is not just about the cost or the money of something, the amount of money something is worth. You could be worth millions of dollars and still be a failure. Why? Because your family don't love you. Because your kids don't like you. Nobody respects you, bro. The way you got to the money is not respectable. You're still a failure. So, or what you're doing for the money is not honorable. What you're doing for the money doesn't honor God. What you're doing for the money doesn't serve society. It's a selfish step, crush, and all you're worried about is you. And here's the thing, man. This is what success actually is. So if I say, okay, well, success is not money, well, what is success? You got money, tell me what success is. It's easy for you to say, well, what is success? I'm gonna tell you why I got money. Success is operating for the primary purpose for which you were created. If I turn this foyer into a football field, it's an expensive football field and it's still an expensive house, but it's a waste of a beautiful house because it's not operating for the primary purpose for which it was created. So it's a failed house if I do that to you. Same thing for you. If you don't find the purpose for which you're created and you don't use that purpose in order to generate your income and generate your wealth, then you're not really creating success. It don't matter how much money you make. So that's number one. The other part of that is, when you do get successful, when you do get rich, those are two distinct things. I just gave you the distinguishing factors. When you do get your money, and when you do get successful, you do get rich, because you will get there. You might have to do some things, get a coach. You might have to optimize your business. You might have to go join our private live stream, our free training. It's ulegend.com. It's pinned in the chat, ulgnd.com. Come to the private live stream. It's no cost. You just come over there and you learn. We do it every Wednesday at 5:30. But you will get there if you apply certain biblical principles the way God designed it, and I'll reveal some of that stuff over there. You'll get there. When you get there, understand that if you do it without God, you do it in vain. When we look at Diddy, when you look at what Diddy's going through, don't think you can't go through it. King Nebuchadnezzar, I said it earlier in the live stream. King Nebuchadnezzar went through it because he didn't understand that I can still honor God even after I get what I pray for. When you get what you pray for, don't forget God is the one that gave it to you. Oh, well, I did the work for it. Well, me, I did the work. I did. I got up, I did the work. I worked the 24-hour days at one point in my life for myself. I was the one that was working a construction job, getting off of work, driving Ubers just to make an extra $500 a week in order to invest in my business 7-8 years ago. This is before the millions and before the success and before all that. I was doing that. What I understood, though, is there was something bigger here. And when I got here, I didn't forget that it wasn't my work that got here. The Bible says that you're going to say, when you get your success, Deuteronomy chapter 8, go read it. It says, when you get your success, you're going to say, the work of my hands has created this wealth for me. But do not forget the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to generate wealth. What does that mean? What does that mean? Entrepreneurs, what does that mean? That means that, yes, you did the work. It says, you're going to say to yourself, the power of my hands has created this wealth for me. My hands, physical. But do not forget the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to generate wealth. So, yes, you do the work. Yes, I'm the one that did the work, but it was the power of it was the strength of my hands, but the power of God. And when you look at a situation like what Diddy is going through, it's exactly that. And it says, for if you forget the Lord your God is the one that gave you this power, then in that day you will surely die. Not die physically. It don't mean you're gonna drop dead. God gonna throw a lightning bolt at you and drop you dead. No, it means that the success that you had is gonna start to die because you're forgetting that God is the one that gave you the power to generate wealth. That's what the scripture says. These are biblical principles. I teach every client that I have. We have over 1,000 people in our entrepreneur group. I teach all of them the same thing, and it's on ulegend.com if you don't know, ulgnd.com. Teach all the same thing. This only comes from applying biblical principles. And why it works, because God creates a system. This is why I call it my book, God's Automation. It's around here somewhere. I call it the book, God's Automation, because God has a biblical system that's principles, precepts, and if you apply the principles, in this book, I teach 3 of them, 3 of the biblical principles that'll make you rich, right? God's automation. The principles don't care who plants the seed. A seed don't care who planted, right? No matter if I plant the seed, if I'm a good person, black person, white person, bad person, whatever it is, when you plant seeds, they're going to grow. If it's the right time of year, you take care of it, it's going to grow. This is why evil people are able to get rich, because they apply the principles better than people. Jesus Christ taught a parable. That he said, it was the parable of the shrewd manager. And in this parable, he said, he gives this example of this manager managing money for somebody else. And he says, the guy did something that was pretty wise, even though he was about to lose his job. I'm just giving you guys a quick synopsis. And Jesus said, understand that the children of this world are more shrewd, more astute, more wise in their own generation than the children of the light. That means that the people of God, for whatever reason, we don't use our wisdom. Like, we're not as sharp in our generation. And then Jesus goes on to say, truly I say to you, use your worldly wealth to gain friends. Not for yourself, not to do all that stuff for yourself. No, to gain friends. Use your worldly wealth to gain friends. That's part of the reason that you get it. So we don't pay attention a lot of times. And we think that because, this person, Diddy is a bad person, why God bless him? Because he applied the principles. Even if he forgot God after he applied them, we see what happens with the outcome of that, right? But he applied the principles. So when you get your success, when you get the opportunity to be successful, when you're going to win, and you're going to win. If you get the opportunity, you're going to win. And if you do what you're supposed to do, you plant the seeds, you're going to win. When you get that opportunity, don't forget it's the Lord your God that gives you the power to generate wealth in the first place. Because if you do it without God, it don't matter anyway. And I'm going to show you guys, when we go through the private live stream, we're doing it tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. I'm going to show you guys the 4 steps. I'm going to show you guys really easy ways. If you don't know what your purpose is, if you don't know what the reason is that you're supposed to be here on earth, nor the business that you should start to make yourself successful, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to give you easy steps to do it. These are the easy steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. You do that. And, we're going to do that in the private live stream. So make sure you guys are signed up for that on ulegend.com. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Yep, somebody said, no, I would not switch with Warren Buffett and his money. No thanks. You know why? Because you value the time. You value the time more than anything. That's part of it. Now the people that go, money don't matter. Yes, it does. Jesus Christ taught 16 of his 38 parables about money. 25, it's like 2,350 scriptures in the Bible are about money. God talked about money a lot. And the reason that God talked about money a lot is because, like Jesus said, the person that can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. The person that can't be trusted with much can't be trusted with little. So if you go read the scriptures, you'll understand it matters. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Go ahead, drop any business questions that you guys have before we end this live stream. I'm gonna do about 10 minutes. Any business question that you guys have, I can answer anything that you're doing in life. If you're trying to find your purpose, if you don't know what business to start, if you have a business idea and you don't know how to get started, or you don't know where to go next, or even if you have a successful business and it's running and you like, man, I'm making 100,000, but I don't know how to get to 1,000,000. Well, I'll help you with all that. If you going viral, some of y'all going viral and you can't figure out, how can I go from going viral to actually making money? Because going viral don't necessarily make money. We got clients that, they like, I got 4 million followers, Will, but I don't know where the money is supposed to come from. Or I just ran into somebody in Walmart. They stopped me, man, can you help me? I'm like, yeah. So they're like, man, I just did a video, got 1.6 million views. How do I make money off of that? So any questions that you guys have, and no matter if it's a brick and mortar business, online business, content, don't matter. I've been coaching for a long time. Said I'm broke, but I still watch. Hey, as long as you keep watching, you not broke in. Being broke is a temporary condition. Being poor is a state of mind. I've been both in my life. I swear I have. I've been both. Don't be poor. It's okay to be broke. That's a temporary condition. Hey, rich people go broke. Rich people might not have all the money in the world in the moment, but they ain't poor. In the hood, we used to be like, yeah, I'm broke, but I ain't poor. And that's the difference. So it's okay, bro. Hey, keep coming. If you just watching like, man, I ain't got no money, I just watch the content, man, this is where it starts. Because all success comes from awareness, and awareness comes from expectation and exposure. You become aware because of the expectation that you create and the exposure that you have. You exposing yourself to somebody that, right now, me and you sitting talking, and you may not have no money, but you're exposing yourself to somebody that does. And the more that you come and you come listen, the more that you come and you come pay attention to this, the more you're going to start thinking about things that I say. And you're going to be able to tap in. God created us for connection, bro. We're connected just by us talking to each other, sitting right here. You listen to me, I'm giving you some insight on some things that I know. I'm reading your comment, I'm listening to you. Go join the private live stream. It don't cost no money. It ain't going to cost you no money. Go to my website, join the private live stream. Exposure. Expose yourself to more people that are doing it. And the blessing of it is you have somebody here that love you. I love you, bro. I want to see everybody that's watching this. I want to see you guys win. It don't take no money out of my pocket for you to be successful. I've never understood them people that are gatekeeping and, oh, the game is meant to be sold, not told. People that do that, to me, is because you don't have that much game. You got 2 or 3 gyms, and that's all you know, because you ain't got this. I got 11 years of experience in business. I got, 7 years in content creation? 6 years, 8 years, 7, how many? I don't know. It's 25. 9 years. I got 9 years in content creation, 11 years in business. So, like, man, people don't got no game. They just be talking, dog. They got 2 things that they can, and if they tell you those 2 things for free, they don't have nothing to sell. So they can't give it. Me, man, y'all come here, we sit, we bust it up. Join the private live stream. We get more into detail on, helping you guys out with some of this stuff. But if you broke, I highly suggest you go join. It's a private live stream. It's no cost. It's a live event. Y'all gonna sit with me. We're gonna talk about business. I'm gonna show you how to get started. I'm gonna show you how, even if you're started already, how you go from 100K. And that's why I call it from stuck to 7 figures, because at every level I got stuck. So when I was poor, it felt like I was stuck and I couldn't, I don't know what to do. What's the next step? How do I even get a good job? From there, you get a good job. You're like, this is a decent job, but I feel like there's something more. I worked construction for 4 years when I was like 19, 20. And I was like, man, I'm stuck. Like, I feel like I'm not moving forward. I'm making 40,000 a year, but it feels like there's more out there. I'm seeing other people do better. Why can't I? And you get stuck at that level. And then when you break through to the next level, I had my first 6-figure year. My first 6-figure year, I made $177,000. I was terrified. I never had no money. At that point, I was the richest person in my family. Still the richest person in my family. But that was like the first time. I didn't even tell my family that I made no money. Because, coming from the hood, coming from poverty, first of all, coming from poverty, when you make $100,000, it's like you made 100 million. You guys know what I'm saying. Some of y'all can relate. Like, man, if I made 100,000, I feel like a millionaire. It feels like 100 million the first time you make it. And it almost brings tears to my eyes now, because when I look back at some of the stuff that God has been able to, allow me access to, I got a lot of millionaire friends now. And the way I see it now is like, man, this is why I'm so passionate about my business and helping entrepreneurs. I used to work with companies directly, and I started working with entrepreneurs last year. And I'm passionate about it because I see me and you guys, and it means more to me. So when I say go join the private live stream, that's what I'm saying, because I'm here. I want to give you guys what I didn't have, which was access, awareness. You know, when you get awareness and exposure, or excuse me, when you get exposure and your expectation change because of it, it increases your awareness. So a lot of us, we're not successful because we just don't know what success is supposed to look like. We don't know, like we hear these fake gurus on Instagram, oh, the tax write-offs and all this BS that's not real, that is going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. But we don't get the exposure when we come from poverty, or even at the level when I made 6 figures for like 3 years before I became a millionaire. My third $250,000 year, it was my third $250,000 year. I'm like, how do you go from $250,000 to $1 million? Like, it shows you that it's a never ending how you go from here to here. Right now, I got 3 mentors. I got one from Italy. His name is Tony. Michael Franzese. Some of you guys know Michael Franzese. And I got another that I won't name. That they're all millionaires and multi-millionaires, and been for a long time, like before the internet. And they helping me get to the next level. I get insight from them, and I get wisdom from them to go from my little baby millions to the 100 million. Which is where I'm going next. But at every level you get stuck. And that's why I call it the private live stream from stuck to 7 figures. Because even if you think that $100,000 is like, you're going to get $100,000 one day, and you're going to be stuck at that level. You're going to be like, man, what's the next thing if you're ambitious, right? Your expenses change, your lifestyle changes, everything changes. So I teach how to go from every level to that and how to unstick yourself at every level in the private live stream. So make sure you go to the website, check it out. I'm very passionate about it. And I empathize when you guys say, man, I don't got it, man. I'm trying to figure it out. Well, it's so easy, man. Let me say it. It's not easy. It's simple. It's so simple. And sometimes when we get simple truths, it's hard for us to accept, because it's like, man, it can't be that simple. And I'm telling you, one thing that I've learned, when you guys pick an entrepreneur, I mentor and I coach too. I coach a lot of clients, and we got a lot of clients. I got 12 employees, a dozen employees or so. One thing you learn, or it's a lot, it's so much you learn, but one thing that you learn is that it's not as hard as you think it is, man. It's not as hard as you think it, like simple truths. We don't accept the truth in our human minds because we feel like the truth has to be complicated, but all good coaching is counterintuitive. If you find a good coach, it has the information they give you is going to be counterintuitive. Why? Because if you already knew it, you wouldn't need a coach to teach it to you. If it was common sense, why would I need anybody to teach it to me? So when I say something that don't sound like, that might not be right, it's because it's actual good information. Good coaching is counterintuitive. So when I say it's easier to make $20,000 in a week than it is to make $20,000 in a year, that's a fact. The how is what you don't understand, and that's why it feels like it don't make sense. But I'm telling you, and I teach my clients how to do it, but it's not complicated. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. It's not complicated at all. So I want you guys over there in the community, in our You Legend community, hit that like button if you're still watching. We got a little over 400 people in here still. Let's see what business problems I can help you guys with right now while we're on the live stream. You guys getting some free consulting right now. Let's see. Said, I'm asking God to start a podcast in Jesus' name. I have a laptop, and so far that's it. I need more instructions to get hooked up. A podcast, it's not so much about said on Wednesday at 6 p.m., I'm going to be in church. Well, catch us next time, the next Wednesday. That's when our private live streams are, 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. I can't tailor it to one person. We got over 1,000 people over there. Y'all funny. So to start a podcast is simple. It's not so much the what to do or how to do it. It's who do I have to become in order to do this? And that's what a lot of people miss in anything. Like, who do I have to become to have a consistent, successful podcast? And when I say who, that means what are we on there talking about? What makes this podcast entertaining to people? What makes people go, I have to watch this? What are you creating in something? Nobody's a fan of you. Nobody's a fan of Will Evans. They're a fan of themselves. When people watch my content, it's something about them that is attracted to my content. It's not something about me that attracts them. Does that make sense? When I coach salesmen, the first thing I say is stop trying to sell people. Because selling to people and selling for people feels different. People know when you're selling to them. People will know when you're selling for them. Why am I saying that? In terms of even a podcast. If you're selling for me, then I'm going to feel like I'm watching this because you're creating it directly for me. The people that are in this chat, we've been here for over an hour, and it's still over, 400, 500 people here? 400 people here? A little somewhere in between there? And it's because y'all are getting something. Y'all can sense that I'm doing something for you and that I'm here to entertain or educate you, right? It's not because I'm here worried about me. A lot of times in business, all businesses, use this for your podcast. It don't matter what the business is. A lot of times in business, we so focused on making money, living out our dreams, the passions that we've created for ourselves, that we don't understand. Nobody cares about none of that. I wrote this book. I had clients come and they say, Will, can you teach me how to write a book? I want to tell my story. First thing I say is, can I coach you? Because I want to be respected. Can I coach you? Yeah, absolutely. Nobody cares about your story. Okay, why do you say that? Because they only care about themselves. How does your story help them? Now, your story might be impactful and powerful enough to help them, but that needs to be the focus. The focus don't be telling my story. The focus is not starting a podcast. The focus is, how do I serve? That's the first principle in my book. And it's 3 Bible principles that'll make you rich. The first principle is serve. How do I serve? Because nobody's caring about what I care about. They only care about what they care about. You guys woke up with a specific problem today. Whether you want it to be educated or entertained, which is why you're watching content, whether you come to me for coaching because you're trying to build a business. With my clients, they could be trying to build a business. They could be trying to make money. Some people are just trying to, hey, I just need to learn how you do this or learn this part. I want to write a book. Whatever the problem is, the business problem that they come with, it all comes back to, I have to serve. Scripture. The scripture says, work for one another, serving one another as if you're working for the Lord himself. That means you're supposed to serve people like you serve God, as if you're serving God, not for yourself. It says, Jesus Christ said, the Son of Man did not come to be served, he came to serve. And then, so it's so many times. Jesus said, let the greatest amongst you be servant of all. That's a biblical principle. They're not saying that. God is not that's not in the Bible repetitively for no reason. It's a reason. That's a principle. How do you make a lot of money? How do you make $1 million, Will? How do you start a podcast and it becomes successful? How do you find 100 customers? How do you, whatever the business is, a clothing line? How do you, hey, Will, I got whatever it is, man. Whatever it is. Focus on serving the people more than you focus on making a profit. That's the secret. If I have great customer service, it brings me more customers. So what's the focus? Is the focus on making a good product, or is the focus on making my customers feel strong? If I'm focused on, when I focus on you guys, I've been studying business for 11 years. I've been in business for 11 years. I've studied this. I spend 6 hours a day learning. So when I come in here and talk, I don't got no script. It's live. I can't make this stuff up on the fly. It's because I've studied it. And when I'm giving information, you guys can sense he's put time into whatever he's put time into in order for me to have this information so you can sense it. That's why I say come to the private live stream. It's free. Because I spend my life learning this information, because my purpose is to make sure that I teach. First of all, my first purpose is to bring more people to the kingdom of God. What is the kingdom of God? The king's domain, the king's dominion. That's what kingdom means. So I'm trying to bring more people to God, but God blesses me with all this stuff so you guys can see. When I get all this stuff, because like Deuteronomy chapter 8 says, I didn't forget the Lord my God, for it's he who gave me the power to generate wealth. Y'all go, man, let me read the Bible. You know how many people say, bro, I started reading my Bible just for the business principles that you be teaching out of it? Because I never caught that. So that's my first purpose. But my second purpose is to serve people. It's the 2 commandments that God gave us, that Jesus Christ, when he came back, said, love God with all your heart, love and serve other people as you love yourself. So I serve God, but then I serve other people. And my whole purpose, my personal purpose, is making sure that you guys understand what it takes for you to build your businesses so you can get out of survival mode, build your businesses so you can go to the next level so you can serve more people. That's the only reason I exist. That's why I'm here. It's not just to entertain y'all or get, I talk about entertainment topics, not because I care about them. I talk about them because y'all care about them. And I'm serving you. I'm not serving you. I don't care about what's going on with Diddy. Personally, I'm rich. I'm going to go sleep in my mansion tonight. I'm going to climb into bed with it. My wife is a model. Dead serious. We thinking about having another baby. I could go climb in the bed and roll around with my kid's big fine mama. You feel me? Like, it don't matter to me. This don't bother, but you guys matter to me. And you care about this Diddy topic. Let's give you the entertainment, and then on the back end, I'm gonna give you guys the education that you can take with your life. Use this to learn from this situation. Don't just be entertained by it. Learn from it. Apply these principles to your life. You're gonna become rich. You're gonna be a billionaire. And I'll see you up there. And when we get up there, we'll high five, and you'll be like, yo, I was watching you early on. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, I love that. Good to see you, man. That's what it's about for me. That's my purpose. And I pray that through what you learn from me in business, that you see God through me and you give it back to God when you get successful in business. That's why I'm here. That's why I do everything that I do. That's why I say, come to the private live stream. That's why I say, join my inner circle. That's why I say, go through ULegend University on the website. Go through the university program, get the 5 modules, get the 3-day experience with me. You know, we can do a 3-day experience where I built the business from the ground up for you, dang near. And you get all the information that you want in my ULegend University. But if nothing else, come to the private live stream. There's no cost to you. Go to the website, come through, and we're going to give it good information. You know what I mean? It don't matter what the business is. I can solve the problem because I've been in business for so long. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Drop questions in the chat. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you have the opportunity to ask questions. Said I'm 67, retired, but I've had a business years ago before working for a law organization. But now I'm looking to go back into business doing crafts. Okay. I just can't seem to get organized to start. Okay. If you work for a law organization, I don't know, but I'm going to assume that you're educated, and I'm going to use you as a broad teaching point for all my people that are similar to you. Okay. Is that fair? I hope that's fair. All right. Educated people are some of the hardest when I say educated, I mean traditional education through college, textbooks, teachers. Some of the hardest people to coach because I have to break you out of the mentality of a checklist. Because you said you work for a law organization. I have clients that are lawyers that they come to me and say, well, how do I get more clients for my law firm? And I teach them. And I'm going to teach you some of the stuff that I teach them, the stuff that I can't give away. Law firms, lawyers, people that come from these educated, because I didn't go to college, but everybody that works for me did. So all my employees dang near, I think except one, went to college. They all got degrees. So this is a passion point for me too. They teach you how to get the degree in order to validate the system that they created, because that's their business. The college system is their business. They don't teach you how to get the clients because they never taught you how to deal with people. If you worked in most jobs are like this, but if you worked in a law firm or if you worked in a law organization, then you've had the experience of checklists. This is what it is. Boom, 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 boom. People don't care about checklists. People care about the value that you're bringing to them. In your crafts business, I want you to get out of the mindset that you had when you worked in a law firm that if I work hard and if I do this and if I check this box and check that box and check that box, my craft business should be successful. What that's going to do is leave you disappointed, discouraged, and feeling like you're not doing the right thing, right? Because business is not like that. It's not a checkbox. When you go into business for yourself, you're going to understand very quickly that it's more about people than it is about anything else. So in your crafts business, you can make 6 figures in your craft business if you understand this principle that I'm about to teach you. I have to focus not on me being passionate about creating crafts or me being passionate about the thing that I enjoy doing or me wanting to do anything. I have to focus on how this is going to serve somebody else's problem. Boom. It's that simple. How does this craft now? There's a couple ways you can go about that. Here's one of them. I'm not going to give them all to you, but I'm going to give you one. You could serve other people by creating a community through your crafts business. Because I have a client that makes candles, and we help them their business grow. So crafts it's not a crazy different field than that. Focus on creating a community through the crafts business. And I want this community to buy my crafts, because you don't need 1 billion clients. You don't need 1 billion customers. You need 100 customers that are willing to spend $1,000 with you. 1,000 customers that are willing to spend 100 with you. There's 7-8 billion people on the planet. There is 1,000 people that want to spend $100 with you. Mindset. So get in the mindset of, who are those 1,000 people? How do I find those 1,000 people? And more importantly than all of that, how do I serve those 1,000 people? That's it. What does my craft business do for them that makes them excited about it? Now, sometimes it could get, you go in your mind and you make it more complicated than what it is. You have to identify their problem. Don't try to guess it. Man, I can't teach everything in this live stream. I want to answer other people's questions, but go to the private live stream and make sure you join my inner circle, and I'll reach out, send an email to one of my team members. You can email us at team@ulegend.com. One of my team members will email you back, and it's team@ulgnd.com. Email us and we'll get you some help. Because I can step by step it, but I've been on live for over an hour and I can't be here too much longer. And I get passionate about it and excited about it, and I start talking too much. And then we'll be here all day. But man, if you're 67, if you're retired, or if hey, I don't want to work no more, I'm 45, I'm tired of working for the rest of my life, you need to be coming to talk to me. You need to be coming to talk to me. Because man, it's not as hard as y'all think, man. We created, that's part of the ULegend University. 3 modules in my university curriculum that I created it's on the website. Y'all see three of there's 5 modules, and then you get a 3-day experience with me. And 3 of those modules are designed specifically for the almost 40 and over 40 entrepreneurs that don't know how to use the internet to make money, don't know how to build a personal brand, don't know how to create things for the benefit of their business, you know. So like I give you guys a whole 3-day, just 3 modules straight of that. So I'm very good at what I do. God is good. Let me see what else. Anybody else got any other questions in the chat, or we're gonna end this. Said, I'm ready to find my purpose. Been for years, something for years, been a something for years now, and it's now it's me time. Yeah, man. Finding your purpose. I have a really simple process. Some of you guys know it if you've been in the private live streams, but go to our live event. Sign up and put your email address in at ulegend.com. It's scrolling right here at the bottom of the screen. Put your email address in, get to our private event. And I'm gonna teach you. And I'm not talking about like 10 minutes. I'm teaching like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, how to find your purpose or the perfect business idea for you to start. It's not hard. That's probably, the quickest part of our thing. Say, hey, bro, respectfully, you got to redo the letter in the back. Bro, when you put your name on your mansion wall, you do it how you want. This is not attacking you, bro, but I just want to speak to a mentality. And typically, this is black people. So I'm going to talk to our people on this. This is a black people sad mentality that keeps us poor, broken in the cycle of poverty for the rest of our lives, and our children as well. Black people will hear you give all the game in the world, and they can't focus on anything other than aesthetics and feelings. Aesthetics and feelings is all black people care about. It's so sad. And it's interesting to me. Like, man, you can hear us. This is black people. Hey, dog, this is how you're going to find your purpose in business. I'm giving an example. Hey, bro, this is how you're going to find your purpose in business. I made $3 million this year. I want to show you how to make, at least for you, make 100,000. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man, because I'm trying to go buy some shoes, man. I need to get them new Jordans. Bro, what? Nah, dog, I'm talking about like how to change your life, how you can benefit your family and like help your kids. Yeah, I feel you, because man, that house that you got, what are you talking about? Focus. I'm telling you something that's going to help you change your life. You're talking about a house or some shoes. Yeah, man, because I seen you pull up in that Benz. Bro, before I had the Benz, I had something else. It's just a car. I'm talking about you, your soul, internally, thinking you'll find your purpose in life. You'll wake up with meaning, not just a couple dollars. And we do that. And it just reminded me of that. When you like, oh, the letters on the back. Like, bro, what are you talking about right now? Focus, family. Focus. Everybody, including me, you are where you are in life because of the level of awareness that you have currently. And your awareness will never change. You're not aware that you could be sitting in the house and doing your own lettering like this. Easily. My last name is on the wall of a mansion, bro. And you worried about the way it looks. It's mentality, man. Like, you can have a mansion is the point of what we're talking about. We all, the Bible said, Jesus said, in my Father's house, there's many mansions. Abundance is inheritance. If you were the child of God, everybody should have a mansion. But the people that apply God's principles and the people that understand business and the people that are focused on the right things, the correct things, they get it. And the ones that don't. And I'm trying to unlock something in your mind, bro. Stay focused. I'm not upset with you. I'm not disrespecting you. I want you better. I know that you're better than that. Because I know that you're better than me. Because I've been shot multiple times. I'm a 2-strike felon. I've been through all the streets and all that. You better than me. But you don't listen. So many people was better than me. They just didn't listen. I listened. When the old head was talking. Not the old head that was poor and broke. I'm talking about the person that can increase my awareness. That can create a new expectation in me. And increase my exposure. I listened to them. And there wasn't a bunch of them. And they weren't friends or family members. So I wasn't able to, when I was around for 5 minutes, I listened. I paid attention. They didn't even have to tell me all the time. I just sat back and I soaked it up. Like, okay, I see how he walk. I see how you deal with people. I see how you think people be thinking rich people are mean and evil. That's the ones y'all see on Instagram and TV. The rich people that I be around, they be the nicest, kindest, most generous people. You don't even know they rich until you go see, like, dang, they was rich. They was that kind of rich. I'll never forget. I was just in public and I met this guy and he stopped me and he grabbed my watch, gold watch. And he grabbed my watch and he was like, that's a nice watch. And he was like, he went like in his coat pocket to pull a checkbook out. He's like, how much you want? He was joking. And I'm like, nah, I ain't selling my watch off my wrist. And he was like, nah, I'm just kidding. He was older. He had to be in the 70s. Turns out that guy was Richie Rich. You guys remember the cartoon Richie Rich? He was the guy that the cartoon was based on. Now, this dude was old, hunched over a little bit, wore a leather jacket, bunch of like gold bracelets, and you could feel the money when he walked in. But I just paid attention, like, we focus on the wrong things sometimes, man. We focus on the wrong things. If you got a business fixing stuff, respectfully, bro, you got to grow up. So respectfully, I didn't even read your comment. I just said, yeah, I feel you, bro, but ain't no buts, bro. Grow up. You're too old. You're not where you're at in life, where you want to be in life. Grow up, man. I don't want to hear no but respectfully. No, but respectfully grow up, bro. You're immature. This is why I've been rich since I was 26 and you still trying to get there. Because you don't understand life, bro. God bless you guys, man. I'll see you guys at the private live stream. I'm about to go back to the office and we're going to wrap this thing up. But I hope that you guys got some information out of this. I'm going to go head back to the office and we're going to close this thing down. Let me leave this.